In the Arctic, a scientific expedition team discovers a block of ice that has been frozen for 40,000 years. Upon further inspection, they find a man inside who has been frozen for the same amount of time. This is the first prehistoric human to be discovered. According to his appearance, the Iceman was around 30 years old when he was frozen. The scientists are excited about this discovery and decide to conduct an in-depth study of the Iceman. To do so, they thaw the ice block and conduct an autopsy. They remove the Iceman's clothes and ancient belongings to prepare for the procedure. During the autopsy, the scientists make a shocking discovery. The Iceman's cells are still alive, and he has strong brain waves. This indicates that the man who has been frozen for 40,000 years is still alive. The scientists rush to rescue the Iceman, seeing this as a significant scientific discovery. To revive the Iceman, the scientists first put an oxygen mask on him and give him an injection of glucose. They then use a defibrillator to help him wake up and restore his bodily functions. The Iceman is alarmed when he sees the people with surgical masks and believes they are beasts he has never seen before. Stanley, one of the scientists, realizes the Iceman's fear and removes his mask and hood to reveal his hair and beard. After seeing that they are the same kind, the Iceman calms down. The doctor then gives him a sedative injection, and the scientists continue to examine him. The scientists want to dissect the Iceman to conduct further research, with the possibility of creating a medicine that could give people immortality. However, Stanley disagrees, arguing that the Iceman has the same rights as any other person and should not be harmed. The plan to dissect the Iceman is put on hold temporarily. As the Iceman cannot adapt to modern society, the scientists decide to place him in an artificial simulated environment for study. The environment proves successful, and the Iceman thinks he is back in his world. He drills wood for fire, makes hunting tools, and catches wild hogs just like he used to. One day, while catching fish in a pond, the Iceman accidentally pulls out a tap and hides it as if it is a treasure. He climbs up the water hose and finds himself back in the cage with the scientists. Seeing the strangers, the Iceman becomes out of control, and the guard has to take out a tranquilizer gun and give him a shot. Upon waking up, the Iceman realizes that he is a prisoner and goes on a hunger strike. Stanley enters the cage to try to communicate with him, but the Iceman waves his arms, signaling for Stanley to leave his territory. Stanley responds with a smile, and the Iceman tests him by lifting a rock and slamming it down. Stanley is not hurt, and the Iceman finally lets his guard down after determining that Stanley is his kind. Although they can't understand each other's language, they become friends, and Stanley gives him the name Chad. Stanley learns that the tattoo on Chad's chest is a bird called beta. To further understand Chad, he finds a linguist to help him learn Chad's language. As time passes, he gets to know Chad better. One day, Stanley introduces Chad to his colleague Dr. Diane, and Chad becomes excited when he sees her. He immediately checks her gender, and after determining that she is a woman, he tries to offer her some food. Diane eats the food, not realizing that it is a buck. Chad becomes sad when Stanley rejects his offer to exchange Diane for the tap. It turns out that Chad is a married man with 2 children, and Diane reminds him of his family. A helicopter appears out of nowhere, and Chad becomes very emotional, shouting a name to the helicopter: Beta. He stops communicating with anyone and starts drawing strange symbols on his body, preparing for an important ritual that confuses Stanley. To understand Chad's behavior, Stanley seeks the help of the local Inuit. He learns that Beta is a bird in ancient polar legends that represents a messenger of God. Chad probably mistook the helicopter for Beta and believed that it would take him to the gods. Stanley realizes that Chad's people all died in a sudden ice age, and Chad believed it was because they had offended the gods. Chad hoped to find the gods and sacrifice himself to redeem his people, but an accident led to his being sealed for 40,000 years. Stanley sympathizes with Chad, who has lost his family, his tribe, and everything he knew. He wants to give Chad his freedom back and let him follow his faith. With the help of his colleagues, Stanley escapes from the Arctic base with Chad in the ice and snow. Chad continues moving forward until he sees Beta again and believes it is taking him to God. He grabs Beta's foot, reaches a certain altitude, and releases his grip. Stanley is happy for Chad, realizing that he has fulfilled his wish from 40,000 years ago. Although the Iceman's discovery was significant for scientific research, Stanley's relationship with Chad shows the importance of treating each other with kindness and respect, regardless of cultural and historical differences. I hope you're enjoying the content that I'm creating. If you like what you're seeing, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to tell me what I should fix or improve on in the future. Your feedback is greatly appreciated, and it helps me create better content for you. Thanks for your support.